Good afternoon, guys. It's Workin bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar. This is the 4-hour chart on Coinbase. And last time we spoke, guys, Bitcoin was consolidating right above 3,600, guys. 3,600 was acting as a decent support. And again, we're looking at Coinbase. It'll vary depending on your exchange, but this support level was holding. It did finally end up, we had this little bit of a spike, and I was showing you guys that we had a little bit of bullish divergence on the MACD. That resulted in a very, very quick uptick, followed by immediately hitting resistance and dropping back down below our $3,600 support. And it's just been a slow drip ever since. And if you remember on the last update, guys, I told you I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin come back down and test this prior order block right back here, which sits between right around 35.80 and 35.40. That's exactly what happened. Prices just slowly trickled down into this area here. Let me zoom, blow it up here so you guys can see a little better. Slowly trickled down into this area here, wick down almost to the bottom, testing that 35.40, pushed right back up here, but we're just kind of sitting here consolidating with no major bounce as of yet. Without that major bounce, I was hoping that that drop here to that 35.50, 35.40 range would trigger a lot of buy orders and we get a nice bounce off of that. We have not had that bounce. And coming over here and looking at volume overall, just refresh it here, sitting at about 6.1 billion on the day. That is an uptick from what we were having prior to this move, prior to this larger bounce here, but that's still relatively very, very low volume, still very, very ripe for manipulation, guys. And you need to keep that into it. You need to always consider that, guys. Always remember that we've seen moves like this before. We've seen them multiple times before since that breakdown. We saw it here, price crashed. We saw it here, price crashed again, here, price crashed again, a little bit here, price crashed again, and now we're seeing it here. So is this going to be any different? And right now, I mean, I want to say that it is, but I'm not seeing any evidence to show me that it is as of yet. Doesn't mean that this can't happen, guys. We did have this breakout of this descending wedge here that we were watching, that we called, and so that that was a bullish sign. As of now, this retesting of what was resistance is acting as support. That is a bullish sign. But is that bullish enough for me to sit here and tell you that that's the bottom? Absolutely not. In no way, shape, or form is that bullish enough for me to tell you that's the bottom. So some people are looking at this little decline here. And let me just kind of blow it up here so you guys can see a little bit better. Some people are looking at this, guys, and they're calling this a possible bull flag, and you can see why they're doing that, guys. You can see there's there's some merit to calling this a possible bull flag. There's some merit to that argument. It's a little sloppy if it is, and I'm not really seeing. I'm not seeing the evidence to support that. In other words, we have had this breakdown here, testing the bottom. We did not get a major bounce as of yet, but we'll wait and see if that does happen, and if we can take out this prior high right here. I'm not even going to look at this wick up here. Yes, we need to take that out, but that's not where my focus is. At this point, guys, my focus is sitting right here at this top, which there's a lot of going all the way back here to the early January. We can see there's a lot of resistance right up into this area. It was resistance here, acted as support here, then it immediately started acting as resistance again. Price broke up, came back down, resistance here, came back up, resistance here again, resistance. So there's a lot of sell orders sitting in this little order block. So really, if we can break up above this zone here decisively, by decisively I mean at least a 4-hour candle, preferably a daily, but at least a 4-hour candle opening and closing above this zone, then we can start to possibly say this thing might have some temporary legs. And even then, we've got a lot of resistance to go through, guys, before we can declare this thing hitting bottom. But we need, if we can at least break above, let's call it 3680. If we can break above 3680, guys, this thing might have some legs. We'll have to wait and see if it does end up doing that. But looking at this down below here, if we do end up breaking below this order block here, and that's going to be sitting right around 35.40 on Coinbase. Again, it'll vary depending on your exchange, but on Coinbase, that's going to sit around 45.50, or excuse me, 35.50. If that does end up breaking down, guys, I think there's a very good chance that it could be a quick drop drop back down to at least test this area right here, somewhere around 34.50, 34.20, somewhere in that area, but very likely coming back down to this $3,400 support. And that could happen very quickly if we get that decisive break below 35.40. All right, if we get rid of some of the noise and we zoom out here on the daily chart, guys, we can see that we do have a decent descending resistance line right here that is absolutely being respected, guys, and has been since November of 2018, November of last year. We can see price broke down, came up, resistance, 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 resistance for about 5 days straight, broke down. Here we go again, resistance, resistance, and resistance yesterday. So this is a relevant line, guys. Obviously, this is going to be a descending resistance line that it's going to need to be broken above if this thing is going to have any kind of a leg, any kind of legs at all. So let's wait and see if that does happen, but this is certainly an interesting resistance area that we're going to be watching. Obviously, to the downside, guys, we're obviously watching this zone here. We created a series of higher lows here, lower highs here. Anytime you kind of get that compression, guys, what do you expect? You expect a larger move, and we are getting that kind of series of looking at the bigger picture, series of lower highs, higher lows, and we're coming up to a point in the apex where we could get that larger move to come, guys, and that larger move truly could come either up or down. Without question, this thing could go up or down, guys. This $3,600 area right here is extremely relevant. We have yet to really decisively break up above this zone, which means that we could still absolutely come crash right back down. Our volume is still very, very, very low. And overall, if we zoom out here to the weekly chart, guys, which I've shown you guys numerous times in the past, we can see just how bearish this overall trend is. And I know I've shown you guys this so many times, but just so you can see, this thing is just a blip on the radar. I mean, we're really seeing no major bullish momentum at all when you're looking at the daily chart, guys. This is just, like I said, just one little blip in the midst of a continuation of an overall downtrend. Now, could that get broken? Absolutely, it certainly could. But has that been broken yet? No. And until that is broken, guys, you got to go with the trend. Probability always favors the trend until the trend is broken. All right, zooming out to, again, our daily chart, looking at our moving averages and exponential moving averages, we can see, as I told you guys in the last update, price came up. We found a lot of resistance right at the top of that upper Bollinger Band, which coincided almost perfectly with that 50-day moving average. We can see that we still have yet to break above that 50-day moving average, and we're now coming back down and looks like it's getting ready to retest that 21-day EMA. And, you know, really this 21-day EMA, in my opinion, does have to hold. If we break below it, I think very quickly, or we're going to very quickly come back down and test that $3,400 order block down below. Now, we do have some bullish sign in that we have this 8-day EMA just crossed above this 21-day EMA. That is a bullish sign, guys. We'll see if that can continue. It was just a very slight break up above as of now. That is a bullish sign, guys, but again, let's wait and see if that can continue. And unfortunately, we're not getting volume to back that up. Again, guys, we're only sitting at about 6.1 billion on the day. As I always tell you guys, you're going to know when new money is entering the market when we see daily volume consistently above 10 billion. And right now, guys, we're getting nowhere near that, obviously. So, you know, we got a long way to go before we can say that the bulls are officially back in town. Again, I'm not saying that they aren't. I'm not saying that we may not have seen the bottom yet, but I'm just saying we're not seeing any evidence of that as of yet. All right, let's come over and look at shorts versus longs. We'll start off here looking at shorts. Shorts, get back here so you guys can see a little bit better here. Shorts are slowly starting to stack here just a little bit. We can see that in the last, in the last 48 hours, they've stacked, from their low to this high here, we're sitting right around, about 8%, 8-9% gains in shorts as of now. If we come over here and we look at long positions are just continuing to stack. We look at that exact same time period, we can see, longs are certainly outpacing shorts, and in the same time period, they've stacked about 8%. So about the same in the last 48 hours, shorts versus longs. But again, overall, longs are absolutely outpacing shorts quite significantly. So what does that mean? Then, especially in a low volume market, that means that this is ripe for manipulation. That also means that market makers have a lot of incentive to drive price down to liquidate those long positions, since longs are outpacing shorts at this point. Now, one of the things that I like to look for, guys, in in any kind of when the market is starting to turn around, you'll start to see altcoins spike, and I don't just mean one altcoin spiking. You'll start to see altcoins that across the board just kind of spiking or popping like little like popcorn, like kernels of popcorn here and there. Right now, we're not seeing any major spike in altcoins. Looking over at the top 100 here, we've had a little bit of spikes here and there, but no major spike like we would typically see in a nice reversal. And why do you see that? You see that because people are feeling comfortable in investing into whatever their favorite altcoin is. They're comfortable buying Bitcoin and then trading that Bitcoin for their favorite altcoin, and you'll see little spikes here and there for seemingly no reason. We had that spike in Litecoin the other day, which kind of led this overall little bullish move that we had over the last week. But that was due to some bullish news, some bullish fundamental news coming out of Litecoin. You want to see some Litecoin or some you want to see some altcoins starting to spike for seemingly no reason other than people are starting to get comfortable and starting to have a little more faith in the market. And we're not seeing that yet. In other words, we're not seeing new money really willing to enter this market. We're seeing the same money trading hands back and forth, but no real new money entering the market as of yet. And we need new money to enter this market, guys, if we are going to have any kind of a sustainable bull run. Remember, volume is king, and right now we just don't have that volume as of yet. Again, doesn't mean it's not going to happen, just means that we aren't there yet. So what am I watching? I'm obviously watching this zone between 3,800 and 3,600 very, very closely. We definitely need to get above it, guys, but as I pointed out last time, we really need to clear this area right here that sits between 4,120 and 4,000. And again, this is on Coinbase, depending on your exchange. That will be a little higher, a little bit lower, depending on the exchange you're looking at, but this is the overall, this is the pattern, this is the area that there's a lot of order blocks sitting up here, a lot of sell orders that are sitting in this area that need to be cleared before we can enter into that bull run that we're all hoping for. To the downside, guys, I'm going to be watching very closely 3,400. If we do break below 3,400, guys, I do think that it could be a very, very quick drop. Well, looking at a more micro level, I'm watching this 3,550, 3,500, knowing that if that breaks down, we could break down to 3,400. But I'm more on that's on a more micro level. On a more macro level, I'm watching this 3,400 area, really 3,400 to 3,250, knowing if that breaks down, we'll quickly find ourselves down in that $3,000 range. And again, that just goes back to looking at that overall larger move or larger weekly chart, guys, and looking and seeing that there's just not a lot of support. If you look here, there's just not a lot of support below that 3,600. We have this little possible double bottom here that could take place at about 3,150, but there's just not a lot of support below here until we get down to that $3,000 to $2,500 range, guys. And this, as I always say, this is where I will go in heavy. And I continue to say, if we ever see a $3,000 to $2,500 Bitcoin, I will absolutely stack in my buy orders in that area. And I know a lot of you ask me about trade setups, and you like when I put out some various calls. As far as trade setup, guys, if you want to enter into a very small position down here, hoping for a nice little bounce back up above 3,600, I think it's a very, very risky play. But if you did want to do that, I would wait for price to come back down, retest that 35.50 again on Coinbase, depending on your exchange, wherever this happens to be. But retest the bottom of this order block. Maybe, again, I'm not going to take this, but if you wanted to, maybe pick up a very small scalp trade here, and I would target the 36.50, possibly take your investment off the table at 36.50, and then let the rest ride up to that 3,800 area where I would get out. But personally, guys, I would wait until price. The area that I'd be looking to buy right now possibly would be down here at 3,400. I'd wait for that drop. It may never come, but if it does, I'd be watching this area down here at 3,400. And of course, I'd be watching longs versus shorts to see, and also volume to see if I would pick up or would enter into a position down at this point. And I would target once again this area back up in here at 35.50. That's just me, and I'm not even saying I would take this. It would all depend on how longs and shorts and volume looked once price came back down here, if price ever comes back down here. As far as shorting, I'm watching this area up here for a possible short between 4,120 and 4,000. This is the area where I would expect a major reversal if we do get some kind of a large bull trap. This is going to be a very difficult area to penetrate, in my opinion. Certainly would be a decent area to consider a short, but once again, I'm going to be watching overall volume. I'm going to be watching longs versus shorts, as well as a lot of other factors to wait and see if I do decide to enter into a trade, if we ever get up in this area. So to answer your question, unless you wanted to enter into a very, very quick scalp trade, targeting or buying it at about 35.50 and selling almost immediately at $100 later, if we get a $100 jump between 36.50, possibly even 3800 if you're a little more risky, 3800. But I'm not seeing any solid trade setup. I'm not seeing any kind of a trade setup at the moment that I myself am comfortable taking. So I don't want to put out any kind of call and act like I do sometimes, and I probably will later on today, do some quick scalp trades here and there, and I usually go all the way down to the 5-minute chart, guys, sometimes a 15-minute chart, but I'm not comfortable telling you guys what I'm doing there because by the time I'm in and out of a trade, there's no way I could make a video and put out a call that quickly, because I just get in and I get out. But so I'm trying to give you guys things that I'm looking at overall, and I'm trying to tell you ahead of time what I'm looking at and what I'm going to be thinking. If something does happen, then I will do this if these factors all check, if these boxes are all checked. But really what I'm trying to do, guys, is I don't want this channel to be a channel for you guys to take your calls or to get signals from. I want this to be a channel to help you guys learn how to create your own signals, help you guys learn when to enter, when to exit trades on your own. And again, guys, the best way to do that is to just kind of trade with some paper money. I've told you guys this before. If you look at TradingView, they have a free option where you can trade, just with basic paper money, basically with funny money, and you can kind of see how well you would do, or wouldn't do, as the case may be. So I would encourage anybody that's out there that's new to trading, that thinks that you may want to get into that. I would encourage you to do a lot of paper trading before you ever think about trading with real money, unless again you're looking at holding for the long haul. And as I always say, slowly dollar cost averaging in for the long haul. This is not a bad idea to do that, guys. I think this time, 5 years from now, people are going to wish to God they would have bought at these prices. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things there. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, would appreciate an upvote if you have enjoyed this content. Until next time, guys, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Workin, signing out.